Okay, sharing of needles fine. Doctors won't share needles in the very first place because they know the impacts of it. So who does share needles? It is generally between the drug users.
That is about today we are going to present. Today we are going to do a presentation about lesson some natural technology. In this chapter, we learned about lightning, earthquakes, and how to stay safe when they occur. In the further PPT, we will also be learning about it in detail. We will also come through some interesting facts and through interesting quizzes too.
When a body has a defense deficiency or excess of electrons from the normal, it is said to be charged or electrified.
So basically, when a body has any type of charge, it is said to be charged.
Positive and negative charges are the two types of charges. Like charges repel each other, while unlike charges attract each other.
So basically, like charges means positive and positive charge will repel each other, while negative and positive charge will attract each other.
To present you the lesson, the sound. The presenters are Kaushal Nandekar, Sarthak Labde, Gaurav Masurekar, and Shriyan Sarone.
Sound is a form of energy that is created by vibrating objects. These vibrating generate waves that travel through a medium such as air, water, or solid. Sound adding characteristics, loud and speed, quality.
Free motion. The to and fro, back and front. Motion of an object is called an oscillatory motion. In this chapter, we refer to this as a vibration. The pendulum is the most common example of an oscillatory motion. Pendulum. This is the diagram of a pendulum which comes in an oscillatory motion. This is the diagram of amplitude, low amplitude and high amplitude. Amplitude and loudness. The loudness of sound measured in decibels or dB depends upon the amplitude of wave. The higher amplitude, louder the sound. The lower the amplitude, the softer the sound. Frequency and pitch. The pitch of the sound depends upon a frequency of vibrations or wave. Second, the higher the frequency, the pitch. The lower frequency, the lower the pitch. This is the diagram for it, wave shape of a low pitched sound. Sorry, these aren't quality and time period. Sorry, these aren't interrelated with each other. Second, time period means the time taken to complete one vibration. Third, there is no such detailing given for quality.
Maturity is called adolescence. Adolescence is also called as teenagers. Puberty. Human body undergoes with the several changes during adolescence. These changes mark onset of puberty.
I'm going to explain you the changes at puberty. So our first topic is increasing height. So during the adolescence, the height of the person starts increasing suddenly. Because the bones of the arms and legs elongate and make the person taller. Means get stretched. Also, we can also calculate our full height through one formula. Present height upon percent of full height into 100. We can calculate. Also, the height depends on the genes from their parents. Okay, so this topic is over. Next topic is reducing body shape. During puberty, change in body shape takes place. In boys, shoulders starts getting broadened and chest becomes wider. In girls, in girls, portion below the waist becomes wider. Okay, in boys, this portion gets wider and the chest is broader. In girls, the portion between the waist gets wider. Okay, so our next topic is the voice change. Voice change during puberty, the voice change or larynx begins to grow larger, voice box. So it grows with a several period of time. Growing voice box in boys can be seen as protruding part of throat called as Adam's apple. Calculate his percentage present of height means if his height is 100 centimeters. Okay, so 100 upon percentage of 70%. Okay, 100 upon 70 into 100. That can solve. The answer will be his future height and his final height. Yes.
We speak, the lungs force air through the gap, and then the vocal cords vibrate, and the vibrations are sent to the mouth, and then the teeth and the tongue help in formation of words, and then so you can hear what I'm speaking. That's the same thing. When the lungs force air restrict, the vocal cords vibrate, producing sound. But muscles attached to the vocal cords can make the vocal cords tight or loose.
2-3 points rather which you should have mentioned in the slide, which you didn't. You talked about amplitude, you talked about frequency, but you didn't define it. So can you define what is amplitude?
Amplitude is the maximum displacement of the bob from its center to its position.
Correct. And what is frequency?
So frequency is the number of vibrations per second.
Correct. So you should have mentioned that in the slide. You forgot to mention those two definitions. Also, you didn't mention about you were talking about the vocal cords, right? You didn't mention the length in human males and human females.
The length in human males, the vocal cord is 15 millimeters, and in females it is 20 millimeters.
I think you are interchanged it.
It's more low.
Vocal cords in men, how much you said? No. In men it is 20 millimeters and in female it is 50 millimeters. Okay. So these 2-3 points you should have included. Otherwise it was, yes, one more. Just thoda sa कारण तुम्ही एवढा शिक.
But I realized how important reproduction is for the continuation of species. But what would happen if reproduction didn't take place? Reproduction is essential because it ensures the survival of species. If organisms didn't reproduce, then the number would decline because of old age, diseases, predators, etc. And eventually the species would extinct. While reading, I also came across that there are two modes of reproduction, sexual and asexual. Can you explain those? Yes. In sexual reproduction, two parents are needed, a male and a female. Both are involved. The male produces sperm and female produces eggs.
Okay. Sharing of needles fine. Doctors won't share needles in the very first place because they know the impacts of it. So who does share needles? It is generally between the drug users who share the needles. Doctors won't share the needles. Fine. So it is by using sharing of the needles, and as he said, through affected blood, that is blood transfusion. But again the chances of the spread of HIV through blood is negligible because in the blood banks such blood is discarded. But what are the major ways in which HIV spreads? This is fine, but the major way is through unsafe sexual practices. Okay, if a person is having the HIV and he indulges in unsafe sexual practices, that is without using condoms, then both the partners might be infected. So that is the first. So HIV spreads through mainly the body fluids. Okay, body fluids is the main reason. Then as I said, sharing of the needles.
are reduced at the surface of the object, forming a thin sheet of metal. The solution conducting electricity is called electrolyte. This can result in decomposition and displacement. At the cathode, the reaction occurs. Example, metal ions in the solution.
Or will you minimize the noise pollution in your 8th CBSE class?